John, thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's great to see you guys.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm having so much fun on tour.
Yeah. What does an average day look like for you being on tour?
Well, it's different now. My kids come with me on the road now, so we're taking them about town and taking them to touristy things, and they're at the Van Gogh Museum right now. And so we spend a lot of time with them. And, you know, when I used to tour, I would just either be just me and my wife, or when she was my girlfriend at the time. And, you know, we would relax more. But now the kids are here, so we're like actively parenting and trying to show them a good time around Europe. So
and then having breakfast together, and then Daddy goes off for work.
And then Daddy goes off for work, and the shows have been wonderful.
Yeah. What is it like to be with the kids on tour?
They love it. They're having so much fun. We love it. It really is cool to see all of these different countries and cities through their eyes, because, you know, they've not been to most of these places yet. And getting to introduce them to these cities and seeing it through their eyes is a lot of fun.
So what was their comment on Amsterdam then?
Well, they just got here and they love the hotel. And I'll find out what they think about the Van Gogh Museum when they get back.
All of Me marks the marriage.
Yes, I wrote it and I sang it first live at our wedding.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Is there also a song that marks the birth of your children?
Well, I wrote a song called Right By You for Luna on Darkness and Light. So that album was right around when Luna was born, and I wrote a song for her. And I've got another song that I've written for my kids that'll be on my next album.
And every time you play them, it brings back memories, or is it just a song that you perform on stage?
Well, I don't really play Right By You live anymore, but I played it during the Darkness and Light tour, and it was special. It was definitely special.
What do they say when friends ask them, what does your daddy do for work?
They know that I'm a singer, and they're used to seeing me on stage now, and so I think they're pretty comfortable. Just that's their normal life. Their dad sings for a living.
Do they realize how special that is?
I think they do now because we'll take them to Las Vegas and they'll see my face on a billboard and they know that that's not normal. And, you know, they'll see my face on posters and billboards around town, and then they see people asking me for autographs and asking me for photos. So I think they realize now, you know, that our life isn't exactly normal.
2 years ago, you and your wife did a lie detector test. Can you remember that?
Yes, we did it with Vanity Fair.
Yeah. And then you asked her, did he ever embarrass you? And then she said, when you put on your radio voice. And you know, we're radio guys, so we want to know how your radio voice
sound like.
This is my radio voice.
Hello, this is John Legend. And that's my radio voice.
And then Chrissy leaves the room.
She leaves the room. She's embarrassed.
She starts yelling.
She's just embarrassed.
How's the process of your new album working out?
Well, it's basically done. We did it mostly when we were still locked down pretty much. So, you know, 2020 was kind of the release of Bigger Love in June of 2020. And then we did some remote promotion, but we couldn't tour. And then at the start of 2021, I started writing, and I wrote lots and lots of songs over 2021 and a little bit of 2022. And now we're ready to put it all out. And,
so it was an inspirational time then?
Oh, yeah. I had lots of time to write because we couldn't tour for quite a while. My first tour was finally in August of 2021. So from, you know, from the beginning of that year through August, I was just writing pretty much.
And what's more difficult, picking the songs for the album or choosing an album title?
All of it was difficult, honestly. It's hard picking through the songs because I did write a lot of them, and I want to give the fans as much as possible, but you still have to have quality control. And so you know, it takes some thought and it takes some curation, but I think we've got something really special.
Did you came up with the album title first and then you pick the songs?
No, I always do it the opposite way. I always pick my album title kind of late in the process, after I've gotten a sense of what the album is and what the themes are. and then I figure out what I want to call it.
Did you already tell what the album title is going to be?
I did not,
Oh.
and I'm not doing
We're
it
all
yet.
ears.
I'm not doing it yet. I'm going to announce it soon.
Why not?
So, and if you have that much time to create an album, do you have the impression that it's better because of all the time you could spend on it?
I think it is better because of that, because we really had time to just focus on the details, get all the sounds right, all the productions right, all the arrangements, everything. Just I didn't have to rush through any of it, and the collaborations are amazing, and all of that takes time to come together, and we were able to make it come together because we had so much time.
But is it ever finished?
Oh yeah, it's finished. Yeah, when it's finished because I let it go and I give it to the mastering engineer. It's mastered, and then I'm done. I don't try to keep tweaking it. And then once it gets out to the world, it's a special thing because you have your own impression of what the music is and how you feel about it. But once you put it out to the world, the world, gets to do what they want with it. And it's a very special thing to let the music out to the world and see what life it takes, on its own out in the world.
And what's your favorite place to listen to the final product for the first time?
Well, I love listening in my car, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I love listening in my car because the sound system is perfect and you can just vibe out. And, Los Angeles has some beautiful scenery, so I can drive around,
your own video.
Los Angeles. And I feel like I wrote it with a lot of sunshine in my life. And so driving around the sunny city of LA and enjoying the music in my car is my favorite way to experience it.
Can you describe the feeling when you did this for the first time, driving around in LA, listening to the final product?
Well, it feels good, honestly, because you spend so much time trying to get every little thing right. And when you feel like it has come together and there's balance and there's beauty and there's, transcendence. Sometimes, we're trying to achieve transcendence. When you feel all of that happening, it's a very gratifying feeling. And I can't wait for everybody else to feel it so they can hear it.
When we knew that we were going to meet you, I browsed through all of your albums, and I was wondering, do you ever do that yourself on a rainy Saturday afternoon?
No, I don't.
Or in a car?
I don't
Never.
really. I should more, just to kind of remind myself, but I usually, once I put an album out, I don't really listen to it anymore because I listen to it so much while I'm making it, and every version of every mix, every tweak, I've listened to it so much that once it's out, I don't really listen to it. But sometimes now that I have kids, my kids want to hear certain songs and they'll request my songs.
Do they have a favorite?
Right now, Miles requests Wild a lot from Bigger Love. And they know some of the songs from the new album too. And so they request some of those. They're like, Daddy, is this out yet? And they know the difference between it being just on my phone and it being out in the world. And so they'll ask me if it's out yet. But, most of it's not out yet, other than 2 songs.
Daddy, what is PDA?
Yeah, they don't ask me any details about some of my more suggestive lyrics yet. Thank God.
There will come a time.
This album has some suggestive lyrics too, and
don't listen to that.
I'm glad they don't understand it.
I have some questions from listeners, if you're okay with it.
Okay, yeah.
This is a question from Wilma.
Mm-hmm.
What song of any other artist you wish you had written?
My favorite answer for that question is Crazy by Gnarls Barkley.
Why is that?
I just think it's a perfect pop soul song, and it's perfect. I wish I wrote it.
We have a question from Ina. We had Ed Sheeran on our show a few months ago, and he confessed then that he was doing a Christmas song together with Elton John. So that was a nice primeurtje. So Ina is asking, are you playing a Christmas song?
Tonight at the show?
Or just in general, a single?
I have a Christmas album, and then I did a deluxe version of the album, so we have lots of Christmas songs out in the world, and I did a new Christmas song last year called You Deserve It All. So I'm sure I'll do another one, but I don't have a new one.
You got the genre covered.
I don't have a new one in the cooker right now.
This one is from Mario Lijn. Is there a number one on your wish list for cooperation? Number one.
I think I've exhausted my wish list. There's a few artists that I haven't worked with lately that I love. I love Yebba. I think she's amazing. I love Kendrick Lamar. Would love to collaborate with them, but you wait till you see my track list. We've got some amazing collaborations on this album.
But do you check all the new music to find the best talents?
Yeah, and you'll hear it on the album that we collaborated with a lot of newer artists and artists that are really making great music right now. And I think it's fun for me to collaborate with newer artists because it kind of is a way of continuing to refresh my career. And so I write with newer writers and I collaborate with newer artists because it keeps me fresh.
So how does that work? You call them up yourself personally?
Usually my manager will call their manager, but sometimes I need to make the call myself. Yes.
And then they start screaming.
No screaming. I think it's interesting because a lot of the younger artists I work with will tell me, they grew up listening to my music, which always makes me feel weird because I'm like, I'm not that old yet. But, I'm grateful that I've had influence on these younger artists and that we get to collaborate now and we can influence each other.
Must be a wonderful compliment as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm grateful, truly.
Yeah, cool. And tonight, North Sea Jazz, it's not your first time.
I've been here several times and I'm excited to be back. I love playing in the Netherlands. We've had so much just love here and support here. Of all the European countries, I think we do the best touring here in my history, in my career. And so it's always good to come back here.
Cool. It was a big pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We only got one question left.
Uh-huh.
What's the album title?
Breaking news right here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
NPO Radio 2.